Hey there everyone, it's Kelly and I'd like to welcome you to day one of our Falloween release. Make sure you check out all the details below in the description box. First up, I have the Bloom with Grace Stamps, Dies, and Coordinating Stencil. Now, these beautiful sunflowers were designed by Kelly Taylor, and I just love the different perspectives of the sunflowers here. So we have two turned to the side and one big open sunflower. We have leaves and we have beautiful sentiments, thinking of you today and always. You fill my life with sunshine, and sunflowers are kisses from the sun, and of course, bloom with grace. Now, the coordinating dies will cut out every one of those beautiful sunflowers and leaves, plus all the sentiments. Now, there is a coordinating die that will go along with this stamp set, and that is going to allow you to place that stencil over the top of your stamped image and color in, add some little details, things like that. But this is the Bloom with Grace Beautiful Sunflowers Stamps, Dies, and Stencils. Now next up is the Bold Background Pumpkin Patch, and I love this. So the background die that has all those leaves connected is 4¼ by 5½, and then we have all the little layering pieces to build up the pumpkins for your pumpkin patch. There are also loose leaves, so you can add dimension that way, and then of course we have all the little stems to go on your pumpkins as well. So whether you cut this out of solid colored cardstock or you like to ink blend like I do, this is going to be fun all fall long. And here is the cool layering guide that shows you exactly how to put together the Bold Backgrounds pumpkin patch. Next is the Lovely Layers fireplace. Now this is so cool. This background die, I'm going to call it the background. It's the base layer of our fireplace, but it is going to cut around the edge and then press in the stacked stone design to go around your fireplace. And then there's all the little details, so we get our fireplace just right. There's mantle pieces there are the side columns for beside the fireplace there. There's also the little logs and flames. So cool to create a fireplace as a homey card, but also this fireplace is the perfect backdrop for all the seasons. The layering guide provided with that is going to show you exactly how to put together the fireplace. And then if you notice there to the bottom right, that fireplace is decorated for fall. So there is the fireplace fall add-on. And there's two different ways that you can decorate your fireplace. You can decorate it for Halloween. There's a cute little chair that your little ghost can sit in and read a book. There's spider webs and pumpkins and some little spooky candles and things that you can put on the mantle, but you can also decorate your fireplace just for fall. You can stack up the pumpkins, you can add the little lamp, you can have the chair, a basket, there's a little pillow and a throw blanket. There's even a little rug that you can kind of throw down in front of your fireplace. But so cute. I love the little spiderweb dies that will stretch across the mantle. There are also little leaves and acorns. I love the designs on the stacked pumpkins, and that little chair and ghost have won my heart. It's so adorable. As you can see from the layering guide here, shows you how to put all those little lovely layers together, and I just love the graphic or a little card that's built there at the bottom. Shows that adorable little ghost reading his scary story in that cute little chair. Next is the Blessings of Fall Sentiment Stamp Set. Now, I love all of these sentiments. They cover all types of fall cards. There's sentiments like there is always something to be thankful for, to everything there is a season and a time, to every purpose under heaven, Ecclesiastes 3:1. Let our lives be full of both thanks and giving. Happy Thanksgiving, wishing you a bountiful blessings of fall, and many more. There are also the coordinating dies that are going to cut out every one of those beautiful fall greetings. Next is the Lovely Layers Mini Fall Florals. Now, I'm in love with this set because it includes lots of our most favorite Lovely Layers flowers, like the sunflower, the coneflower. There's lots of greenery like fall leaves, and there's some little stems. There's even a little sunflower bud. I'm in love with the extra little container that was added to this set, and it is a cute little lace-up boot. Now, there's lots of ways that you can play with this, whether you make a little witch's boot in the fall, you can trim off the toe and just make a classic ladies boot. You could make a little elf's boot or maybe a Mrs. Claus boot, but you can use the Lovely Layers Mini Fall Florals Layering Guide to create the most adorable fall bouquet. Here I have used the beautiful fall florals, and I have trimmed the little curly toe off of my boot just to make a classic lace-up boot to hold my beautiful fall bouquet. Next is the Lovely Layers Scarecrow. Now, I have so many cute ideas with this cute little scarecrow, whether I'm going to cut him out of pattern paper, I can cut it out of white paper and ink blend, I can just use solid color cardstock, but I can mix and match all different colors to create a fun little fall outfit for my scarecrow. He's got a layering little head and hat. There's even a scarf to go around his neck. And I love that there's even a crow included that can be perched up on his little shoulder. Now here's a look at the layering guide for the Lovely Layers Scarecrow. As you can see, he's so adorable with the little patches in his clothes and his little overalls. And I have so much fun creating fall cards with this little cutie. Next is the Forest Floor Layering Stencil Set and Coordinating Dies. So there are several stencils in this set that are going to create a really beautiful fall background. I love the mushrooms in this set. I'm partial to the cute little mushrooms, but you can layer on color and then die cut your pieces. I personally like to die cut first and then use the stencils to color in my little die cuts. I'm going to be using this whole set at the end of the video to create a card, so I hope you'll stick around for that. But each one of these stencils is going to color in a different section of the background. So we have one here that's going to do parts of the pumpkins and the mushrooms, and then we move on to different stems. We move on to the little details in the mushrooms and the pumpkins. There's even little leaves and acorns in the background. There are little scattered leaves that are really tiny. There are also the little caps to the mushrooms that we can do in different colors. There is a layering guide with the forest floor background stencils. You can see what each one of those 6 stencils is going to color in. It gives you a few color suggestions, and then if you notice on the bottom, you see what every one of those stencils layered together is going to create that beautiful background, and then next to that are the die cut pieces. Next, I have a brand new sentiment die set. This is called Great Greetings, and this is the everyday die set. So we have the words hello, happy, congrats, and thanks. And for each word, there is a background or a shadow die, and then the scripty thin word that you can layer on top. Now you can use the scripty word by itself, or you can add the shadow as I've done here to show you. But you can see how cute these are and the great size of these. These are going to be a great centerpiece or focal point for the front of your cards. Next is the Mini Messages Fall Sentiment Stamp Set. We have lots of great fall greetings in here like welcome to the pumpkin patch, autumn skies, and pumpkin pies. You're the pick of the patch. In all things give thanks. Happy Thanksgiving, bountiful blessings. Gather here with grateful hearts. Grateful for you. I love fall most of all. Hey there, pumpkin, and autumn blessings. And there are several more greetings in this set. Now, every one of our mini messages stamp sets are going to coordinate with the same die set, and I'm going to show you that here. So there are 3 different banner shapes included in this die set. There's a rounded corner, a more square corner, and the fishtail corner. And these are going to cut out all of your mini messages. Next is our seasonal signs die set and coordinating stencils. Now, this will give you a sign for every season. So, we have three different shaped signs. We have a bow, you can add winter mittens, there's tulips for the springtime, there are fall pumpkins, there's more tropical looking plants for summer, there's even a little layering pencil for back to school, and then there are different hangers that you can hang on your sign. Now the stencils are going to stencil on maybe a background like the wood grain or Hello Spring. There's a little the pencil so you can add color. There's a jack-o'-lantern face so you can make that circle into a jack-o'-lantern. You see Hello Fall, Hello Spring. There are the little mittens and the summertime little elements with the big leaves and the sunshine. And then we have a stencil that's going to give you lots of words like hello fall, hello summer, back to school, and hello winter. I am super excited about this. I love home decor. You've probably seen these maybe hanging on your neighbor's front door or maybe in their home. And our cards can't be left out, right? So I'm going to show you the layering guide here. So this layering guide shows you all three shapes of the signs. You can see the cute little pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern face, and these pair so well, the die cuts and the stencils. So you can add your little die cuts, you can use the stencil, you can use just the stencils over the sign. Lots of different options here in creating your lovely layers seasonal signs. Next is the Storybook Fall Stamps and Coordinating Dies. Now, these beautiful stamps were created by Dawn Holslegel, and I am in love with these sweet little images that Dawn has created. There are two little puppy dogs and a scarecrow. There are bales of hay. We have this fall tree with apples on it. There are even little birds that you can perch in the tree. Dawn has added a lot of great sentiments in this set, like, hey friend, seasons change, but true friends remain. I miss you to my core. Life's bounty is sweetest when shared with friends. Happy fall. And if friends were apples, I'd pick you. Now there is the coordinating die set that's going to cut out every one of these sweet little images plus all the sentiments. And here is a card that I created during one of our live streams with the sweet little puppy dogs and the apple tree. Next is the Farmhouse Fields Pumpkin Patch add-on dies. Now this die set is an add-on to our original Farmhouse Fields cover plate and then the On the Farm dies. Now the cover plate has a stencil set that colors in the background, and then the On the Farm dies have all the little farm pieces that go on the farmhouse field. So there's the little tractor, the little farmhouse, the little silo, and so on. Now here's a card that I created with the original Farmhouse Fields cover plate and the On the Farm dies with the little tractor and the farmhouse and the little barn. So cute. Now this pumpkin patch add-on die set is going to deck out your farmhouse fields for the fall. So you're going to be able to make a sunflower patch or maybe a pumpkin patch on top of those farmhouse fields. There's even a little sign that says pumpkin, hayride, and corn maze. There are corn stalks. You can see the little scarecrow there, and there's a little wagon that you can fill with hay that will go on the back of the original little tractor. And I am so in love with this set. It is so stinking cute. It's the perfect add-on for fall. Now here's a look at the layering guide for the pumpkin patch add-on. You can see how all the pumpkins go together, the little wagon. There's even a little like farm cart or a little goat cart, the scarecrow, and then there in the bottom right, you can see the corn maze with the scarecrow, the pumpkins, and even bales of hay. Next is the lovely layers pheasants. Now we have the male or the rooster pheasant there at the top, and then we have the female or the hen there at the bottom. These are really easy layering birds to put together, perfect for fall cards or maybe for the hunter or the outdoorsman in your life that you like to create cards for. But these make really pretty pheasants for all year long, but especially in the fall. Let's take a close-up look at all of the details in the feathers and all the layers of these die cuts. And then we're going to take a close-up look at our layering guide. So this layering guide is going to make it super easy for you to put together both the male and female pheasant, gives you like color ideas and things like that. So this is the Lovely Layers Pheasants. Next is the Fabulous Fall background cover plate die. Now there is not a cut line around the edge, so you could press this into the middle of like a larger card for like a 5x7, but there are swirling leaves that are going to press into your cardstock and then smaller leaves and dots that will cut. Next is the Fall Forest 3D embossing folder. First, I want to open this up and show you all the texture and things that are going to press into your paper. One side of this is raised, and then one side is the deeper parts, like I like to call the valleys. I'm going to put my cardstock in here so we can get a better look at this beautiful design of all of these beautiful trees. If I look at it here, and then it is 5x7 inches, so perfect for your A7 size cards. And then if I pull my cardstock out of here, we can look at exactly what all these forest full of trees looks like. So beautiful for embossing folder techniques and things like that, or just to make a beautiful subtle background. Next is our Colors of Autumn stencil set. Now this is a layering stencil set with all types of trees and the tree trunks. See, here's the tree trunks that we can blend on all in brown or grays and beiges. And then the next layer is different trees you can see here. And then I'm going to try to grab a hold of this and I'm going to set it aside so we can look at the next one, which is different trees. And as you'll notice here, these are going to be really easy to line up because of the details and the etched lines. So all the trees that you have inked on before are going to line up with the next stencil. And then as we finish this out, I'm going to give you a look at all of them stacked together because sometimes it's easier to see the whole design come together when all the stencils are stacked up on top of one another. And then here is all the beautiful Colors of Autumn layered stencil set put together and made into a card. I just love the way that this turned out. Okay, it is that time in the video when it's time to create a card, and I'm using the Forest Floor stencil and die combo. So I have a piece of craft cardstock cut to 6x6, and I'm just going to start running through our layering stencils to create a whole background piece. After this, I have die cut out of craft cardstock all the little die cuts first. Then I'm going to use the stencils to color in the die cuts. So as you can see, I've started out, I have parts of the little mushrooms and I have the centers of the pumpkins done, and I am switching brushes. I'm not going over the whole stencil with all one color. I'm switching it up so you know the mushrooms are one color, the pumpkins are another color, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to keep moving along here. I'm doing these in very fall looking colors. So oranges, like a brick red or like a barn door red. Now this antique linen color, that turns out to be way too light on the craft cardstock. So I do end up adding a green shade over the top of that later on. I'm moving on with like shabby shutters or more of an olive green for parts of the mushroom. And again, I'm keeping that stencil down, as you'll notice, and then I'm moving on to different sections and different colors so I can change up the colors in the little elements. The next thing I'm going to do is color in the pumpkins, and now I'm moving on to the caps of the little tiny mushrooms, and then there's also some little like leaves and polka dots in the background that I'm going to make sure to cover as well. So I'm going to do this green, which is rustic wilderness, but I've used colors like fossilized amber for the yellow leaves, and barn door, and crackling campfire for the pumpkins. a brown, like gathered twigs and ground espresso for the acorns. And then for the fall leaves, I'm using wild honey. So I'm going to go over just the leafy parts here, add that to all the leaves, and then I'm actually going to take a red and go over and add shading into the larger leaves. That way you get that fall leaf look, like where the leaves start changing colors and turning colors on the trees before they fall. And so I'm going to add that on with one of our Bee Lux detail brushes. And I'm adding just little hits of fired brick on to certain parts of those leaves. And now you are really starting to get that fall look in the leaves. Now, this is where I go back on those bigger mushrooms. I didn't like the antique linen or that beigey color. So I'm adding crushed olive, which is a darker olive color, right over the top of that. And that works out much better and blends together with all the fall colors that we have going on. Now, the next thing that I needed to do was take all of my little die cuts and I am sticking them down, or I have stuck them down onto my sticky mat, and I'm using the stencils to now color in all of those die cuts. I found this to be a lot easier than trying to die cut out of a fully ink blended background. It was just easier for me just to stick everything down. I'm using the exact same colors that I used in the big background. So I've got all my brushes setting off to the right there. So I'm just grabbing my brushes and lining them up and then ink blending right over the top. And these little die cuts turn out so adorable. So now I'm going to get two different cards out of this. I'm going to get a card out of that fully ink blended background, and then a whole different card out of all of these sweet little die cuts. Okay, so I have my background cut down for a card, and then I'm using the Fancy Fall layering frames to create a little resting place for all of the little forest floor die cuts. So I've taken that oval die and cut some craft cardstock, and I'm just inking up around the edges to just distress it and age it a little bit with gathered twigs distress oxide ink. I'm going to adhere the oval frame onto some pattern paper from the Fall is in the Air paper pad, which you'll get fully introduced to in a later video, but this is a brand new beautiful fall paper pad. I'm just using a liquid adhesive to stick that down because I know I'm going to want to add some dimension with my die cuts. Not to mention some seam binding ribbon. So I love this like hand dyed seam binding, and it makes the most beautiful little like crinkly, not perfect bows, and I love it. I love this kind of burnt orangey brown color, and it is perfect with all of these little forest floor die cuts. Once I get the bow kind of all zhuzhed up and all ready to go, I'm ready to start making my little collection of die cuts here. So I'm going to start with the pumpkin, and I popped it up on a little adhesive foam dot to give it some dimension, but also it makes it easier for me to tuck all the little bits and things down in behind it to create this little fall bouquet, so to speak. So I've added a couple of the little fall leaves. I can add the mushrooms. I can pop them up, and we can have them go, you know, this way and that because they're kind of leaning and facing different directions. I needed to trim off the tail or the stem of that one to nestle it down in behind the pumpkin. And I'm going to pop this one up on a foam dot. Go ahead and just give that little stem a trim, and I can poke it right in on the other side. And I'm just going to keep going here, just building up this little fall forest bouquet, and I'm just gonna fill it out. I'm gonna add things in here until I just can't fit any more little goodies. I needed to trim off that little stem, and so I can put it in and poke it down. I love using my little reverse tweezers for this because it acts as another hand, but it also gets my big fingers out of the way. I can use kind of those pointy little pointed ends to kind of slip everything in and make it easier for me to handle everything. I'm going to attach the little acorn right there in front of the little pumpkin. Make sure my little crinkle bow is moved out of the way. And then I'm going to take the last little leaf and give it a little bend and twist so those little tips of the leaf kind of poke out a little bit. And then I'm going to attach it down on top of the pumpkin as well. So it just kind of rests there on the edge. I'm going to hold that down with my finger, make sure everything is stuck nicely. And then I love these little sentiment strips. This sentiment strip is actually in the Fall is in the Air paper pad. There's all types of different sentiments, plus different fonts and different colors. You can see it kind of peeking out there on the right. You'll see the full look of it in video number 3. But I used those sentiment strips in this paper pad for both of these cards. It made it really easy. So I am just adhering that stenciled background onto some of the beautiful fall pattern paper, again from the Fall is in the Air paper pad. And then this hello sentiment is from the Great Greetings Everyday Dies. And so I just have the hello cut. This is going to be perfect to add. And I am trimming off the foam adhesive just to make sure it doesn't poke out or peek out from behind there. We don't want any of that adhesive to be seen. And then I can add this little sentiment strip which says, "You make me so happy." So the finished card will say, "Hello, you make me so happy." And I think that's perfect with all the cute little pumpkins and mushrooms. I'm going to adhere my yellow cardstock with my crinkle ribbon and all my little die cuts on just to a white card base. And then both of these cards are all ready to go. I love the way that these turned out. So easy to play with the layering stencils and the coordinating dies, and then just add a beautiful sentiment or two, whether you create the sentiment with a stamp set or you trim them directly out of the paper pad. Makes it so easy. And so I hope you have enjoyed all the products that I've shared today in day 1 of sneak peeks of our Falloween release. Make sure you check out the description box below for all the information on this release and much more. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.